Go ahead.
I want to thank everybody for being here today. I especially want to thank the Texas Department of Public Safety for taking us out in the beast behind me. It has great deterrent value on the Rio Grande. Also, our United States Border Patrol, who works day in and day out to keep this nation safe under very, very difficult circumstances. We are witnessing a human tragedy at this border. We got back to see migrants that are detained. It's a human tragedy that Border Patrol has to deal with every day. And the sad thing is it didn't have to happen. One man made a decision to rescind policies that were protecting this nation. We finally got to the point where we were securing this border. Yet when Joe Biden came into office, he rescinded Remain in Mexico, Migrant Protection Protocols, the very bill that I marked up and passed out of my committee, the Foreign Affairs Committee. We're going to work very hard in the next month to get as strong border security measures as we can on the emergency supplemental that will be tied to Ukraine and Israel funding, and also to protect Taiwan from an aggressive China. I want to thank the members here for being here with me today. First, Mr. Cuellar, making this a bipartisan trip. He and I see this issue very much alike. He lives on the border, as does Monica De La Cruz, and we're in her district. And of course, Randy Weber is from the basically the Galveston area. I chaired the Homeland Security Committee for 3 terms. I was Deputy Attorney General of the state of Texas. I was a federal prosecutor charged with protecting Texans from terrorism as it relates to the border. We need to go back to the policies at work and get this thing done. 8 million encounters. No legal status. How in the world are we going to deal with this? 300 on the terror watch list. And most saddening is we had our impeachment hearing last week. 2 mothers, one whose daughter was raped by an MS-13 Honduran because he was sent to a family when in fact it was a human trafficking organization. The other mother lost her daughter to fentanyls. Over 200,000 young people have died in this country due to fentanyl poisoning. Tomorrow, we will be flying down to Mexico City to meet with President AMLO and to meet with the presidential candidates to talk about how we can change this policy and return to a policy where we can stop the flow, where we can turn off the magnet and stop the pull factor that brings in so many here illegally. We're also going to visit a fentanyl crime lab and talk about how can we stop these dangerous drugs, chemicals from coming into the United States. So with that, I want to turn it over to my colleagues and open up for questions. I want to turn first to Mr. Henry Cuellar.
Thank you, Michael, and then Monica also, and Randy also. Thank you so much. You know, one of the first things I want to note is that this is a bipartisan CODEL. Sometimes you see Democrats come by themselves, sometimes you see Republicans coming by themselves, and I think it's important to make sure that we do it in a bipartisan way. Because look, we might have some differences, but we want to get to a point where we can solve the issue here at the border. It's important to understand that some of us live here on the border, we live here, we drink the water, we breathe the air, we understand the border, and it's important to make sure that when we address the issues, that it's that we also take in consideration border communities, because many a times when things are being done, they don't take border communities in mind, and whether that's a policy or building a wall, whatever the case might be, you gotta take the border communities in place. So we're ready to find solutions. I do sit as a ranking member for Homeland Security Appropriations, and I hope that we can find a way to address this issue. Supplemental, I'm with Mike. I hope we can address it. We do know that the speaker said that they were going to turn down the Senate deal, which I hope he doesn't. I haven't read it. I don't think anybody has. and that they were not going to do any border security till another president was elected. And again, if there's a crisis, I think we need to get together. And I think this group here can get together to address this issue. I hope we can do the supplemental. I think we need to, as Democrats and Republicans, we have to get out of the comfort zone, which is again, for example, some of us want to see some changes to the criteria when people come in, because if you let 100 people in, and we're letting in, I think, out of FY23, there were 3.1 million people that came to the border. 2.5 border encounters, 600,000 getaway, that's 3.5. And then about 1.5 got allowed to come in one way or the other into the US, and that's not acceptable. The system cannot take this. And I'll say this, last year we heard that we had 7 million housing shortage, affordable housing shortage, 7 million people. And when you're letting millions of people in, they gotta sleep somewhere. And it's not fair to the people that have been waiting for affordable housing here, US citizens. It's not fair to the colonias where they need water and sewage, and we're spending billions of dollars helping folks that at the end of the day are gonna be returned. So with that, I just wanna say, I know we can get together. We might have a few little differences, but this bipartisan type of work will get the job done. And I know we can do it. And I wanna thank Michael McCaul for leading this this delegation. And I want to say to Border Patrol, my brother was DPS. My brother was DPS Escalon. I think you worked with my brother. 27 years. I respect the folks that they do. I respect Border Patrol. I want to support them, provide them the right funding that they need so they can do their job. With that, thank you so much.
Thank you, Henry. Monica?
Thank you so much for being here today. First, I want to thank Chairman McCaul for leading this delegation here. I'm Monica de la Cruz, and I am the Congresswoman of District 15 right here in Hidalgo County. That being said, what is so special about this CODEL is that it is bipartisan. I really enjoy working with Congressman Henry Cuellar on not just this issue, but many issues that affect us here along the border. I want you all to understand something. This is not a Democratic issue or a Republican issue. This is an American issue. It is a matter of American national security. And it is so important that we work together to find solutions. At the end of the day, the American people want us to secure our border and provide national security to communities in America. That being said, I thank my colleagues for attending today and want to remind you all that the House of Representatives has passed H.R. 2 Secure the Border Act. And we would like the Senate to take that up and let's pass some real measures to help get us the security that we're looking for. Now, because I am here in South Texas, I have some Spanish outlets. I have Telemundo here and probably TV Azteca as well. So I'm just gonna say a quick statement for you guys in Spanish so that you all have it. Soy Mónica de la Cruz. Como congresista les digo que la seguridad fronteriza es crucial. Las políticas de Joe Biden han creado una crisis para nuestras comunidades en Texas y para los inmigrantes. Solo queremos paz y seguridad. El presidente tiene que actuar para restaurar orden en la frontera. Muchísimas gracias.
Randy?
Well, I want to thank y'all for being here. I'm Randy Weber. Actually, my
Sorry,
district.
can you say that in Spanish?
Can I say?
Yes,
Yo soy,
Hey,
yo
I'm
soy
Randy
Randy
Weber.
Weber.
Habla español, all right,
Hey, es mi tiempo. ¿Qué estás haciendo? I saved the best for last. What can I say? Well, I'm Randy Weber. I'm actually the upper Gulf Coast of Texas, my district, 14. We start the Louisiana border, that other foreign nation, and we come down 4 counties to Freeport. And look, I want to address something said that this is a border district where we're having problems. Let me tell you something. Every district in the country, congressional district, now has a border problem. They're seeing it in New York, they're seeing it in Ohio, they're seeing it in all these other states, all these other districts. I would simply say to President Biden, 4 things. Stop, catch, and release. Stop paroling people. Reinstitute the Remain in Mexico policy. And then start building a wall. We've been down here with our great DPS, our great Border Patrol, and we've seen a lot of things. I served 4 years in the Texas House. I was the vice chairman of the Border Committee my second term. It was bad then in 2011, 2012. It is multiple times bad, worse now. 302,000 immigrants that we know we brought in December. If 20% of those are children, kindergarten through 12, that's 60,000 K through 12 students that we just brought in that somebody has to pay to educate. That's the American people that has to make that payment. We can't afford that. Mr. President, it is time to get this border secured. Alexandra Mayorkas may think that it's secure, but it's not. It's absolutely not. We see it firsthand. We experience it down here. This is about my 10th time to be here. It was bad when I was in the State House. It's worse now, and there's not a good excuse for it. Chuck Schumer, take up H.R. 2. Get it done in the Senate. The American people are depending on you, Leader Schumer, and you, Mr. President. I yield back.